Welcome back YouTube, KRoad17 here with a brand new video of F1 2019 career mode. We are at the Chinese Grand Prix. We're reading over some of our messages and our development section, which weight reduction has failed. And you will see that Alpha loves to have failed parts. You'll see that all throughout the season. I can assure you that. I know you can improve the way the parts are implemented on the cars with those cursors to the left or to the right, but we don't have those resource points. We are second worst on the grid, so we're trying to just improve our car as best as we can, slapping those points on to parts themselves. But other than that, we are going to dive right into this. I think we're going to jump right on board with qualifying.
Welcome to Shanghai, China, for what I've no doubt is going to be a fantastic F1 qualifying session. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily. It's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
It won't be easy getting out of this qualifying session, but see what you can do.
Thanks for that one, Jeff. I kind of already knew that. China's not one of my strongest tracks, so we're going to jump on board right here. We're going to gear up for our first lap. Let's see what kind of time we can put in. Maybe try to get around P17, P16 for this race. Cross the start-finish line, and we're going to move on to our first lap of Q1. This is a tricky, long right-hander. So easy to catch your car, spinning or understeering, whatever it may be. Come down to the left-hander, really easy on the gas, or you'll spin the car out. Go through, coming up to a right-hander. You're going to drop it down to about third, second, depending. Brake easy, you don't want to lock it up like I just do. Easy on the turn. Like I said, throttle, you want to go as smooth as possible. And then this is just a guiding Devin Butler. Our F2 rival sets the quickest time of the session right now. Coming up here, Max Verstappen just stomps it. Easy understeer area I've noticed in this season on this game is right there. But coming up for a tight left-hander, you want to brake at the 100-meter board. Don't want to lock the tires up. You want to be really easy on the throttle here because you want to get the power down as quick as you can with this super long right-hander onto the backstretch, which will open up to a DRS zone, which is just ahead of us, not too far away. And DRS is open. You can hear the wind, guiding through the good old wing in the back of us. Want to brake a little earlier in the 100-meter board here. Don't want to lock it up like I just did. Very easy on the traction. Coming up to the tough left-hander. This lap has been pretty slow, I will admit, but we crossed the start-finish line. Currently in P7. We have one more go at Q1. We are green in all sectors. Let's see if we can get ourselves into Q2. I don't know if it's going to be just enough or if it's not going to be enough. Lock a little bit up on the left. Cross the start-finish line with the DRS open. And we don't do it. We are only P16, so we are out of Q1.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles an hour, with DRS assisting the cars down the back straight before they brake into the sharp hairpin at turn 14. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. They're still relatively new to a sport which does have a high learning curve and, of course, little tolerance for mistakes.
And this is something that has ended the career of many a young driver, as that leap up to Formula One proves to be too much. But luckily in this case, I'd say they're doing a good solid job, and the risk the team took in signing them is definitely starting to pay off.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, with Pierre Gasly alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Bottas, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Perez and Nico Hülkenberg, Butler, Sainz, Lando Norris and Grosjean, Raikkonen, Rose, George Russell and Lucas Faber. Stroll and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Jeff, you can't hold that on me. That was a good race. But we are here, P16 for the Chinese Grand Prix. We're going to do the one stop, and here I am again overfueling the car, which I definitely learned is a weak point. But here we go, gearing up for the start. We're waiting for the 5 red lights, and they are out. It's go, 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 the Chinese Grand Prix. We are starting P16. Raikkonen and our teammates right next to us. Grosjean right in front of us. Not the best start. Russell is looking for a move on the outside. There goes his teammate Weber, our rival. Not our rival, our teammate. In F2, we tap wheels with Russell. Looking a little bit argy-bargy here. Russell gets the better inside look for us. We're going to give him the spot. Maybe gear up for a move on the outside or the inside. Here we go, running down. Jump on board here in the tail end of lap 1. Following Grosjean, we did get ahead of Russell. Let's see if we have any momentum to catch up to these guys in front of us. And Grosjean goes for an inside look on Raikkonen. I believe Raikkonen, having the same car I have, is not going to have much to fight back here. Grosjean, late brake, looks for the inside look on Raikkonen. Goes across the chicane a little bit harsher. Might have the job done. Raikkonen's going to have the inside. Let's see what these guys do. Sebastian Vettel is setting quick times. It is only lap 1. Grosjean only just does not get around Raikkonen. So we have to battle Grosjean for P15 here. Going around this long right-hander. Very easy to get this wrong. Coming down to the left-hander. Very easy spot to lock it up and spin the car out if you're on the throttle way too quickly. But it seems like Raikkonen and Grosjean get the point quickly. We do get ahead of Grosjean, and Raikkonen's right ahead of us here, so being a teammate, he has the same car as I do, so we should be able to get a better run and pretty much have the same power. Can I get around him? DRS is going to be open. This is lap 4. DRS is open. Kimi kind of makes it a little easy for us, so we pull back into the racing line and brake for the right hairpin turn,
Some
lock it up.
on Stroll. They seem to have an issue.
Stroll is suffering with power or whatever it may be. That might play into our favor. Coming up for the left-hander to cross the start-finish line. It'll be on to lap 5.
If you think you can get past, increase ERS deployment to overtake mode.
Copy that, Jeff. Overtake initiated. Grosjean's ahead of us. We are on lap 12. Butler right there. Butler's fighting off Grosjean. I don't think we're going to say much about this. Going to keep back from these two, see how this plays off. Following these two, maybe catch a tail a little bit. Maybe jump into this battle if we can. Side by side they go through that left-hander. Grosjean gets the worst off. We have DRS. Can we make a move on Grosjean?
We're boxing this lap.
Boxing this lap. Grosjean squeezes to the outside, so we have to back out of that move. Very cheeky from Grosjean, but he does keep P12, Butler in P11, and that is a McLaren in P10. So points are not far out of our visibility here. We just have to push on, see what we can get from this car, see if we can get ourselves into the points for this race.
They're speeding up again. so I expect they fixed whatever the problem was.
Locking the tires up again, following Grosjean and Butler here. We're going to pull into the pits.
Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
So one of the strangest pit zones, a 90 right-hander to the left. Following Grosjean, following Butler in. And I brake super early for that. Like I said, I really need to learn my pit entry. But we're coming down. Let's see if we can maybe pip any of these guys. Hopefully the Alpha team has a great pit stop. Drop down into the pits. Tires have changed and I get held up. I was held up by none other than Norris, the McLaren, who outdoes us in the pits. Never mind that, we go back onto the track.
Stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Yes, we know the rules, Jeff, so we're going to push on. We have Norris, and I get really out of shape there. With a brand new set of tires there, Cole, and I almost dumped the car. So Norris is ahead of us. We have Butler behind us. We do get ahead of Butler on the pit stops, so Alpha does pull us ahead. Let's see if we can catch up to Norris and start making a gap in between me and Butler. Locking the tires up yet again. Still learning these no assist kind of things, but we're pushing on. Gotta keep up with Norris. Gotta make a gap behind me and Butler. We have P15 now. We want to try to make it maybe P13. Never mind that. We're going to have a virtual safety car here.
Yellow flag, virtual safety car, virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace. Right, some information on Ricciardo. They're retiring from the race.
So Daniel Ricciardo out of this race. We're going to jump back on board with Daniel Ricciardo, see what happened to him. I believe he might have overcooked the engine or something failed. Maybe his turbo failed. But you can see he just loses all sorts of power. Tries to stay out of the way of the cars. And this is a little bit dangerous here from Ricciardo, but goes up and decides to pull it off track and retire the car. So that's Daniel Ricciardo out. It's back on board, lap 18 of 28.
Caution, caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
Kevin Magnussen out of the Chinese Grand Prix.
Okay, clear.
Still on board here, we have Norris and Grosjean going toe-to-toe up on this long right-hander as I lock it up and go really wide. Can I make a, somewhat challenge with these two? We have about just over 9 laps to go of this Chinese Grand Prix. Left-hander, easy on the throttle. We only did one stop. Back on lap 28. Charles Leclerc picks up his second win for this season so far. I'm trying to mount a battle between these two as much as I can. Norris a little slow. We get a better run out of that turn. But Norris has a more straight line speed car. Can we make this move work? DRS is open. It's pushing. And you can just see how much those guys scooted off at the end. This car is so down on power. I don't know if it's because I'm over-fueling the car, which I look into later in the season. But going around the last turn of the Grand Prix, lock it up, go really wide off track, and that will do it for us in P11.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Let's see what effect this result has had on the driver's standings. And with today's impressive result, Charles Leclerc steps into the championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to Rose. It has to be said, Romain Grosjean certainly had my eye today. He made impressive gains during the race. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
So here we are, P11 for the Chinese Grand Prix. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps me so much. But until the next race, I promise you more content's going to come. It's not only going to be career mode, but until then, I'm going to leave you off with the highlights of the race.